It comes down to what's up, guys. January 10th, quick episode of the NBA show because life got fucked up. But my roommate burnt my trash can down. And it really comes down to because the problem with my roommates is they're inconsiderate and they live for themselves.
Okay, but that doesn't explain how you burn a fucking trash
Because
can.
they don't know how to cook.
But it's a trash. How do you burn a trash can, though?
My assumption is the moron forgot that they broke my trash can to begin with because they kept slapping it down
Yeah,
like
but
they
like,
fucking.
how do you fucking
So
burn it?
let me finish. This is my assumption. You know how they broke my trash can to begin with? That they kept slapping it down so it stopped raising. So I didn't have enough double like D batteries to go replace the lid. So the lid now is manual. I turned it off. This jackass probably went home for break and came back this week. Completely forgot that I turned off the trash can. Probably went with something boiling hot, like fucking grease or oil, and just started pouring, thinking the lid would open. That's my assumption.
Okay, but like, dog, they have to be incredibly stupid to do that.
He is. The thing is I like Steve. I kind like Steven's a nice guy, but like he tries to act really smart, but he's actually like not. Like he's just a standard like military guy who they think they're like.
Dog, it's a trash can. How do you set that shit on fire?
That's what I'm saying. And there's been other things, not even just Stephen Mallory, that they're people who think they know how to cook, but they don't know how to fucking cook. And as someone who worked in a restaurant where I was fucking berated on a daily basis on how to cook properly, pisses me off. Plus cleaning up after yourself, like I was taught, you cook and you clean at the same time.
I mean, you just clean up after yourself when you're done. That's how it works.
Or like, you know what?
How did they set a trash can on fire? Oh my god!
The other crazy part is people don't understand is, you know what? You can't eat something immediately when you're done cooking it because it's too fucking hot. I mean, I can eat it because I don't have like. So what do you do while you wait for it to cool down? Oh, I can just clean everything up real quick for 5 minutes and then eat, and it'll be perfect temperature.
I still can't believe they set your trash can on fire.
They set my goddamn $200 like touchless trash can.
Dumpster fire, like the fucking Phoenix Suns, man. That's what they did to your apartment.
Literally, I was gone a month,
and they Phoenix Suns to your apartment.
I'm actually scared to come home to my apartment. Also, in the month that no one was there except for Ben Mallory, who stayed there for a majority of the month, we had the most expensive energy bill.
You probably just left everything on.
Left everything on.
Yeah.
Like everything on.
You probably like left every light conceivable on.
Yeah. It was like almost $100 each of us for utilities this month when it's normally like $60.
Yeah, so you probably left everything on.
It's just they're inconsiderate fucks.
Yeah, I mean that's just like dumb. That's just common sense. He just.
No, the problem is those kids are still probably like sped food by their goddamn parents.
Yeah, so they don't have to worry about paying their own bills
and shit like that. And it's just like, bro, you just fucking dropped almost $100 each of us on utilities when like
it's when you're the only one there, that's like a lot of money. Yeah.
Like, bro, literally, you don't like. What are you doing?
He's leaving the lights on when he leaves.
I understand leaving one light on. I usually leave
like all of them.
Yeah, I leave one light on either the kitchen or the living room, so it looks like someone's home, so I don't get fucking robbed.
I mean, you can lock your place and.
No, I lock my place, but like if someone wanted,
if they're gonna rob you, but my thought is if they're gonna rob you, they're gonna rob you anyway. So just turn off everything when you leave.
I mean, you're right, but like I was saying, if someone's scoping out my place and they walk by and I'm gone for 2 weeks, I leave like a TV on or like.
That's fair. Yeah, that's fair.
Because then they could be scoping out the place and they're like, "Oh, I can rob this place because like there's no one there."
And yeah, that's fair. That's fair. My dad will do that shit, but
that's what my parents always did on holidays.
Yeah, my dad always did that shit too. I'm just paying for my own utility bills, and I don't.
No, I get you. I just my whole life is there.
Oh yeah, I mean that's what my parents would do too. My dad will like leave the radio on so like people can hear like.
That I mean, you guys are the only people who still own a radio.
Well, yeah, I know because my dad's an old foreign guy. Of course, he has a radio.
How do you think he stays in touch with his home player?
Yeah, how do you think?
They don't use cell phones. They
use radio conversation like it's
they speak on AM. They speak on AM radio.
All right, well, shall we get into it?
Yeah. So It came out today that the Phoenix Suns are interested in Jalen McDaniels, the 24-year-old, similar play style, Swiss Army knife guy who's having a career year averaging like 10, 4, and 2 for the
For the
Hornets.
Hornets, for the
And
Mavs.
yeah, it's not a bad thing. And right now, the only feasible trade that I saw the Phoenix Suns, because they straight up can't trade Jay Crowder for Jalen McDaniels due to the fact that because the numbers don't work and the Hornets are a team that are right against the salary cap. So they can't go over the cap.
And
so
also, even if the numbers did work, that's just terrible value. So
yeah, Jay Crowder's way better than Jalen.
Shut up. Yeah, sure, man, sure.
Okay, but no, what I'm saying is realistically the reason why it doesn't work out is Jay Crowder doesn't fit the timeline. So if the Hornets were trading, it would be for picks, but the Suns really don't have picks that they would want to trade. My assumption is you do this. You send Jay Crowder to the Pacers. The Pacers are a team that are actually trying to make the playoffs play.
Yeah, they're trying to make
you send James Johnson, who's 2.9 or 2.1 or something like that, or like $2 million with picks. So you send Jay Crowder to the Pacers. Then the Suns send like 2 second rounders or 1 protected first rounder to the Hornets. And then the Pacers send James Johnson to the Hornets. So Hornets get either 2 second round picks, a first rounder, and James Johnson, who they can buy out. And then they send Jalen McDaniels to the Suns. That's a good deal because the reason I say you do this is because the Pacers and Spurs have $15 million they need to spend.
Yeah, and it's a protected first round pick. So like the Suns would expect them to still be a playoff team, so the pick wouldn't be very like high.
That's not a bad deal, right?
It's not a terrible deal, although like
the Hornets just get a pick and they buy out James Johnson.
I think it's a similar. It's a similar offer to what the Celtics did for Derek White, but with an extra team in there. Because like we gave up a first round pick to get Derek White, a late first round pick, and I think that the Suns are expecting to give a late first round pick to get McDaniels. I think he would help the Suns out. Like, but how much is he going to help them? I don't really know. But like a late first round pick, and like with a multi-team trade, that doesn't sound like too bad of a deal on its face.
Yeah, no, completely. And the thing is that it's actually kind of different. Like, I bet you a lot of contending teams want a guy like Jalen McDaniels. What the problem is a lot of these contending teams are right up against the salary cap. So the guys that they do have veteran contracts are players that the Hornets wouldn't want, and they might not have the assets to make it work. Or that the guys that they do have on veteran or minimum contracts are guys who are playing for them that they can't trade. So it's just like
the Hornets he's not as movable as you would expect.
He's not as movable as you expect.
And that is an issue because it's not him, it's the Hornets.
Did Otto Porter just get announced out for the season?
I don't know. Did he?
Yep. Surgery.
Wow. Well, that's unfortunately that was a waste of everyone's time.
Any closing thoughts, and we'll go over to the Otto Porter Jr. news.
I mean, not really. We kind of summarized it best. I think he would definitely help out the Suns, but the difference, like the Hornets aren't in
any contending team.
Any contending team, but the Hornets are not exactly in the most friendly trade scenario where they could have a bunch of wide open offers because, like you said, they're up against the salary cap. So,
and the thing is that if they did make a move, you'd assume the move would be for picks, and there's not a lot of players out there that you can attach with picks that make up the salary.
Yeah, like I get what you're saying. At the end of the day,
he's just going to be a guy who's going to get a full mid-level exception.
I mean, he's going to get moved. I would be surprised if he doesn't, but it just depends on where.
Expiring contract too.
Yeah, depends on where.
That's why it's also teams are like, look, yes, he might help us out, but like, why would we go for Jalen McDaniels right now when he'll be in free agency? We just offer him the full mid-level exception.
Yeah, and I think the Suns are one of those teams that might think like that too. Well, we'll see. It's all about some team might be like, we need to beat these other teams to get him. So
that is true, and then you get a verbal agreement through his agent.
And then you don't have it, and it's like a low offer. But yeah, Otto Porter.
So let's talk about it. And Otto Porter Jr., who's expected. The problem with the Raptors is they got 5-6 guys that are really good. But then Thad Young's kind of a little bit over the hill. Kem Birch is terrible. Otto Porter was supposed to be there, but there's no shooting. So, look, Otto Porter signed with the Raptors in July after one season with Golden State where he won himself a championship. And there he averaged pretty decent numbers. And he also played in Orlando, Chicago, and was drafted by the Wizards 3rd overall. In 8 games this season, he's averaged 5.5 points, 2.5 rebounds, and 18 minutes a night. Bobby Webster of the Raptors general manager said Porter hoped to avoid surgery, but ultimately decided it was best to ensure his long-term health. The Raptors are currently 17-23 in the Eastern Conference. And obviously, we know that Porter wasn't the perfect target for the Raptors this past offseason, but he was a sensible one. They used a good chunk of their mid-level exception to sign him away from the defending champions, the Warriors, on a 2-year, $12.3 million deal. Otto Porter Jr. is a guy who's a defensive, a versatile defender who is an above-average three-point shooter. That was something that this team badly needed off the bench. His absence has been a huge reason why this team has struggled to put it together as a balanced second unit throughout the year. Now, could they be trying to do a Ricky Rubio scenario? Otto Porter Jr. is making $6.3 million this season and $6.3 million next season, I believe. And if you look around, given the decisions that they're facing with Fred VanVleet and Gary Trent Jr., and a possible extension for Pascal Siakam, it wouldn't be a surprise if, Porter was attached to Thad Young or Khem Birch and traded for a guy. What is your thoughts right now? And do you think, because people forget you can trade injured players, do you trade Otto Porter at this point?
I don't know if anybody really trades for him because, they have to be attached. You said you have to be attached with something.
Karis LeVert was traded for Ricky Rubio, who was
have to be attached with something. At the end of the day, he hasn't really played much this year, and when he has played, he hasn't been a huge part of the Raptors. It's kind of been a waste of everyone's time. He hasn't worked out. It's not his fault he got injured, it's unfortunate. But I think that, if he's going to get moved, he's going to have to be attached with another one of the role players. I did see a report today that said, every single Raptors player, even, their core players, they would listen to offers for. So in that same article, it said that the packages for Pascal and OG Anunoby would have to be a shitload. But at the end of the day, the Raptors, everybody on this team is tradable.
Donovan Mitchell, Donovan Mitchell, and Rudy Gobert offers for Pascal, and they want at least 2 first-round picks and an all-star for OG.
But they said they would be willing to listen to offers for anybody. So the Raptors are going to be a team that's going to you would have to expect would make a ton of moves because this team doesn't want to be not in the playoffs. They're paying too many guys too much money for that, and they're trying to win. But Otto Porter he hasn't been on the court. It just hasn't worked out like they thought it. Are they really going to pay him, what you say, $6-point-something million for the next 2 years?
Which is nothing, but you'd rather just attach him to somebody.
You'd rather just attach him to somebody, and you can sign somebody else who will play games for you.
Now, Ivor, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
All right, I'm grabbing my charger. My MacBook's about to die. I think right here, when you look at this situation, if you could attach, I think it's would you do Chris Boucher and Otto Porter for Evan Fournier?
Chris Boucher and Otto Porter for Evan Fournier?
I think that's the only way you get the money to work.
Yeah, but man, Chris Boucher, I would say, has more value than Evan Fournier.
What about if you could get Thad Young and Otto Porter for Evan Fournier? I'm just thinking shooting. I know how bad Evan Fournier is at everything else. Even though Evan Fournier, the last couple of games, he's shown up for the Knicks.
I don't know. Thad Young might be a shout, but at the end of the the Raptors they need shooting, and they
people forget Thad Young was a small forward when he came into the NBA.
Yeah, and then he became a matchup nightmare as a stretch 4.
And then he became a small ball 5.
Yeah, Thad Young has a wild career arc, and he's stuck around the league.
Thad Young was a 20-point scorer at one point.
Thad Young has stuck around the league this entire time. He's found a way to be useful.
You
remember that graphic, that Pacers graphic?
No.
Pull it up. You're screen sharing. Look up Thad Young Pacers graphic. I'm pretty sure people who are watching, comment if you know what I'm talking about in the chat. The Thad Young Pacers graphic.
This one?
No, to the left. Right, the one with Michael Jordan and all them. The full one. That one. They showed this on the Pacers broadcast a few years ago one time. It's the most hilarious shit I've ever seen. They just took his career averages and they were like, I wonder who else has those. And it's bam. Hilarious stuff, man. Oh my God. That's quality right there.
They're not wrong, though.
No, they're not wrong. Those were the stats. At that time, those were the stats. He's alongside those all-time greats. Thaddeus Young.
He's just incredibly efficient.
Exactly. That
The
is
thing
that
is
is the most hilarious draft.
Thad Young went from being the prototypical small forward, which was a 6'8", 230-pound guy who could feast in the inside, grab rebounds, put the ball on the floor a little bit, and stretch the floor a little. Then as the game progressed, he became like this way too quick power forward as the game became more spaced out. And then now, as his shot hasn't fallen as much, he's like, people are like, oh shit, Thad Young can pass. And like Thad Young just fucking.
Thad Young's a good playmaker. People were starting to realize, man, that like, look at that.
I thought I had shared this. I thought I shared this. Okay.
Yeah.
I thought it was sharing.
No, it was. It was. I'm just repeating it again because I love this graphic. It's hilarious.
It's beautiful.
All of those all-time greats, and then Michael Jordan and LeBron James.
Will, where are you? Jackson, you just left us?
He did.
I say Kevin Durant. It's an injury. It's not that big of a deal. And in 2 to 4 weeks, we're hearing, and it's supposed to be not as bad as last year's. And what I want to say, it was announced that Will Barton, if he's not traded, he will be bought out. It's the first buyout candidate we've heard of, Will Barton. He's fallen out of the rotation, and they're looking for trade partners, but it's been announced by Josh Robbins, the beat writer of The Athletic for the Wizards, that if he's not traded, he's being bought out.
He doesn't fit that team's timetable, really. I mean, he doesn't really
the Nets.
The Wizards.
Yeah, exactly. And the Nets, I'm saying this is why we're going over here. If Durant's still out on February 9th,
do they pick up the Nuggets all-time franchise leader and made threes? I think there's a real chance they do. I think it'd be a good fit. At least
Warren, Joe Harris, and Seth Curry and TJ Warren.
Yeah, just try to replace Kevin Durant's production with shooting until he gets back. And then even when Kevin Durant gets back, you have a guy off the bench who can provide like 15 minutes a night and give you valuable shooting. Not bad. I think playoff teams are going to look at Will Barton and for buyouts because I mean,
do they go and look for someone right now like a Carmelo?
No, I don't think they do. I think they wait for better options of guys that have played in the league this season to see. But like Will Barton would be an example. But I don't. Maybe they take a chance on Melo, but I don't know.
I also want to say
see them going for him.
I don't think it's Blake Griffin's kid. I think it's Kessler Edwards.
It's the only. It's got to be Blake's, man. Come on.
Everyone says Blake, but people forget the only other light skin that was on that team was Kessler.
You think Kessler, but we never heard anything about Kessler and what's her nuts.
But they're the same age.
Yeah, but we heard so much about Blake and her, so it's got to be Blake. We know that her and Blake fucking. We know that.
Before we continue, Lana Rhodes' kid.
It's Blake's.
Also, Lana Rhodes says she's an asexual and she doesn't ever want to have sex. And my question is if you're an asexual, then how do you have a baby?
I don't know. I mean, obviously, I thought you were going to say, if you're asexual, how'd you do porn? I'm like, dude, plenty of athletes hate the sports that they play. They do it for a job.
Wait, really? There's plenty of athletes who don't like the sports.
Yeah. So, like, there was this one soccer look up athletes. Like, Andre Agassi famously said that he hated tennis. He just did it because it was his job. Or Benoit Asuakata, he was a Tottenham soccer player. He said he didn't really enjoy playing soccer. He just said it was a job. So that's why he played it for, like.
All right, dude. I think we found out who's the baby mama. All right, dude. It's definitely not Blake. You look at this child.
Yeah. Oh man. Oh, Kessler Edwards is a dog. Oh,
it might be Kessler Edwards.
That's what nobody's talking about. Nobody's talking about Kessler Edwards because it's not as good of a story, but it might be Kessler Edwards.
And okay, Kessler Edwards is 22 years old, going on 23. Lana Rhodes is.
I mean, she's got to be older than that, right?
I think she's 25. She's 26. So this happened last. I think, dude.
Well, is it Kessler Edwards? Maybe he'll come forward. Maybe he'll admit it.
What if Kessler Edwards is that dog who said "go to hell" when she said?
What if it was him?
Pepperdine graduate.
Pepperdine fucking graduate. NBA player. They're about to have another NBA player too this year.
Who?
Maxwell Lewis.
We'll talk about him in a second. Let's move on.
We're going to talk about him later, but yeah.
But to finish up Kevin Durant, I think this team, You just got to focus on Kyrie's going to lead it. Ben Simmons needs to take at least 10 field goals a night at this point. You need TJ Warren,
Yeah, I mean,
Royce O'Neal,
step up.
everybody to step up. Any other thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, you said it best. Like, it's not going to be like a one person, job. Everyone's going to have to step up and start taking more of the scoring load, which means Ben Simmons is going to have to shoot more. We'll see. Like, obviously, thank God it's not like longer for the Nets. They're pretty happy that it's only like 2 to 4 weeks. They can still survive this. They've shown they can win games without their stars this year. So they are not as bad of a spot as other teams would be losing their star.
Makes sense. Let's move on. This one will be a short one. The Atlanta Hawks have came out allegedly and have said, if you want to trade for John Collins, we want a Rudy Gobert trade offer.
I mean, yeah. Like, Rudy Gobert, you're going to tell me Rudy Gobert is more valuable than John Collins? I don't think so.
There's very few players who can do what John Collins does.
Yeah.
I'm straight up saying that. There's not many guys who can literally if he was given a usage rate of 25%, he'd be 22 and 10.
Yeah, probably.
Okay, and John Collins, I've said this before, if he came out in the NBA during the era of Kevin Garnett and all this, when power forwards were actually prioritized and utilized correctly, he'd be a top 10 power forward in that generation. He's a guy who can play not small forward, but he can guard small forwards. He can guard centers. He's a perfect power forward. He's a small ball 5. He fits anybody. He fits anyone because he can play inside. He can play outside. Okay, he can handle the ball. He dunks. What is there not to like from John Collins, Luke?
I mean, there's like nothing not to like. Like, I'm not gonna say he's like the best big man in the league, but like if Rudy Gobert is worth 4 first-round picks, you're telling me this guy's not? I'm not saying he's gonna fetch that, obviously that exact offer, because like that Gobert offer kind of broke the trade market a little bit. But still, like, you can't tell me that he's not more valuable or on the same value as Gobert. You can't tell me that. Like, he can fit every team. It's not, his skills translate.
That's, I think, the most valuable part about John Collins
is the versatility and the fact that his skills fit any system. It's not like
system.
Yeah, it's not like you have to build things around him. Like
you could put him next to Evan Mobley and Jared Allen, it'll work.
Yeah, believe it or not, I don't know how well that would work, but like because you see his facing, but like still, you could play
defensively. That team would be even better.
Yeah, like it would. Like John Collins is a great player, obviously.
Imagine the Celtics if they traded Al Horford and a bunch of picks for him. Imagine Robert Williams and John Collins, Jason Tatum, and Jaylen Brown.
Yeah, like exactly.
And look, first off, we'll talk about Jaren Jackson Jr. has gotten a lot better at rebounding. Jaren Jackson Jr. still this year he's been a lot better, but for his career he has been a guy for being 7 foot tall, a weak rebounder.
You expect more.
But John Collins has put it all together this season, like finally looking like the guy. Because for the last 2 seasons, people don't really realize offensively, he didn't look like the guy he was his first 2 seasons in the league. But this season, he's finally starting to look offensively.
The last month, he started to play really well.
Yeah. John Collins is a guy that he can handle the ball. I think the weakest thing is he's not a passer, but he's never really been asked to pass. So
he showed flashes in college at Wake. Because the offense is built around him, but he can get his own shot when he needs to.
That's a big thing. There's not many power forwards out there.
He can get his own shot when he needs to. But he can
let's list it off. Power forwards who can get their own shots. Lowry Markkanen.
Yeah. I guess just say big guys in general. What?
Okay. I guess technical, because he's Kyle Kuzma a power forward or is he a wing?
I don't know. I guess let's just include him in for the sake of this.
Kuzma?
Yeah.
Is Porzingis a center or a power forward?
I don't know, but Porzingis, we can the point is there's not that many guys besides, what we're saying? Like, there just aren't. Having a big guy who can consistently be able to create like his own shot against like mismatches is
all three levels. All three levels.
It's a good skill to have.
It's a rare skill.
He can take advantage of mismatches very, very well, and it's a rare skill to have.
So right here, we'll switch over to, and this is more your realm, top college prospects. We have ESPN's.
I've got NBA draft nets pulled up on my phone. Just
okay. If you want to send me the link, if it's better.
I don't know if it's better, man. They have Grady Dick at 5 on here, and this was updated. This was updated on like January 5th that they have Grady Dick at 5. So I don't know if this is necessarily better, but I can send
Why
it.
are people overhyping Grady Dick?
I mean, he's like an edge of lottery guy. That's what I think. Like, you know what you're going to get out of him. He tries on defense, but he's not great. But he's a phenomenal shooter, and he's 6'8". But
his floor is being a better shooting version of Grayson Allen, and his ceiling is.
I just sent it to you.
What's his ceiling?
His ceiling is like I don't know, like a Tyler Hero type, like a taller, lankier Tyler Hero.
With I think Tyler Hero with defense.
He's not a good defender though.
He's not a good defender, a willing defender.
He's a willing defender.
I think his best comparison is a better offensive Grayson Allen with not as good defense.
But much better offensively though, because he's shown much. I mean, I don't know, man. I don't know if I'd say much better because they both.
The thing is Grayson Allen, they were kind of similar in college offensively, and the thing is Grayson Allen's a good offensive player. He just isn't athletic enough.
Grady's 6'8" though. Grady's more athletic than Grayson.
I thought Grady was 6'5".
Grady's listed at 6'8", but he's probably more like 6'6" or 6'7". And Grayson Allen is listed at like 6'3", 6'4", which means
Grayson Allen's 6'7", you jackass.
Wait, is he really? He's not 6'7", bro.
Or 6'4".
Yeah, that's why I said 6'3", 6'4". That's what he was listed as.
6'4" with a 6'6" wingspan.
Yeah, like Grady Dick is taller and longer, but Grady Dick isn't as good of a defender, but he tries on defense. But yeah, this thing has him as 5, man. They have him above like Cam Whitmore and like both of the Thompson twins, and I don't know if I agree with that.
For me right now, it goes the best guy in college basketball from what I've seen, Nick Smith.
For me,
Anthony Black. Anthony Black. I'm an Anthony Black guy.
I love Anthony Black. Ever since Nick Smith I watched Anthony Black in Maui, and because I was betting on those games.
He's a 6'7" point guard.
He had back-to-back games, Cyro, when he had 26, 6, and 6 in back-to-back games against San Diego State. And
Anthony Black is the closest thing since LaMelo Ball to be LaMelo Ball.
Except he's not he's still like a 30-something% three-point shooter. Like he's a 6'7" point guard. I love Anthony Black. He's one of my favorite freshmen. I'd say him. Nick Smith and Cam Whitmore, we just don't have enough tape on yet.
Okay, ignore Asar Thompson, and we'll just do right here Dylan up to Dylan Mitchell. Let me zoom out 1 second. Right here, let's go Nick Smith to Dylan Mitchell.
Dylan Mitchell.
These are like the top college prospects. For me, it goes when I look at this list, my top guy is Anthony Black. I love Anthony Black. Next up, Gregory Jackson.
Jackson? Yeah.
Is Gigi Jackson the same guy as Gregory Jackson?
Yes, Gigi's his nickname.
Okay. Jackson, Gregory Jackson. That guy is fucking insane. Okay, best South Carolina player since Kevin Garnett. And third, I go Keontae George because he comes out of Baylor. Which, I mean, not only is he a great scorer already, but he's going to know how to play defense.
I mean, and he's also the primary, he's one of the primary ball handlers in that offense already. He's being asked to do more in the offense than like Kason Wallace, Jarris Walker. You know, he's one of the freshmen who's being asked to do a lot. And
I don't like Kason Walker or Jarris Walker.
You don't like Kason Wallace? I love Kason Wallace. See, he's like a 40-something% three-point shooter who's like he's like towards the top of the country in steals. Great defender, great three-point shooter. He has all the tools that you could want. Like, I love Kason Wallace.
Who's your favorite? Tell me all your favorites on this list.
Brandon Miller's number one.
I hate you.
I love Brandon Miller. My God, man. Brandon Miller is just a smooth shooting, like 6'9" mismatch. Love Brandon Miller. Number 2 is probably Anthony Black because he's a 6'7" point guard, and he really impressed me when I watched him against top competition this year. I'd say number 3 is probably I really love Kason Wallace. I think Nick Smith has higher upside, so I probably have to go Nick Smith, but he just hasn't played enough this year, and I haven't gotten to watch enough.
And that knee's scary.
Yeah, and that knee is scary because it's twice now. It's a reoccurring.
And it's not, and it wasn't a play. No, it was like a flare-up.
Yeah, it was a flare-up of the injury from earlier that kept him out for the first 6 or 7 games that they had. He did not play in Maui.
And I think the original thing was it an injury from training, or was it just another?
It was in the summer. It was in the summer. It was sometime in the summer, I think. I can't remember if it was like a flare-up in the summer too, or just because I don't know. It scares me because this is the second time. Cam Whitmore, I think is really good, but
we haven't seen him.
we haven't seen much of him, and he plays for a bad team.
Which is weird, but he goes to Villanova, so fundamentally he's going to be
Yes,
very
but
solid.
like they're bad right now, which is just like not ideal. I'd probably say Brandon Miller is number 1. Anthony Black's number 2. I'd probably say Nick Smith, Kason Wallace, and then probably Keontae George are the 5 guys in college I like the most right now. Dylan Mitchell, I don't know what to think about him because he's not really asked to do much in that Texas offense. Like he hasn't attempted a 3 all year. Like I know he's not 3-point shooting wasn't his strength, but he hasn't like he's trying to play like wing in the NBA. He hasn't attempted a 3 all season. Like
Dylan Mitchell,
like he has all the tools as far as like being like a long.
I think he's a undersized power forward. The more
That's what I think. He doesn't shoot. He's not a 3-point shooter. Like I said, he hasn't attempted a 3 this year.
GG Jackson.
GG Jackson is kind of like he's like the Ben Simmons of this class to me, the Mark Fultz of this class. He's putting up great numbers on a bad team. Not in terms of being a bust. I love GG.
What's your problem with him? Weak competition?
No, it's not weak competition. It's just the fact that like he's been like decently efficient, but like they're a bad team.
It's not like Patrick Ball.
He has to do everything.
It's not Pat Baldwin.
What?
It's not like Pat Baldwin.
No, it's not like Pat Baldwin.
All right. What about
Pat Baldwin? Legitimately like worried people because like, dude, this guy was like inefficient.
The last few guys, Jarice Walker, Keontae George, Jet Howard, Kel'el Ware, and Kyle Filipkowski. What do you think?
Filipkowski is like an intriguing big guy prospect, but he's kind of cooled off in the last month, and Duke as a whole hasn't looked that great. And Kel'el Ware again, isn't asked to do much in that Oregon offense, but Kel'el Ware is like probably like he has very high upside in terms of
he's the best pure big.
He's the best pure big because he has all the tools, but he just hasn't. He's not asked to do.
He's the Mark Williams of this draft.
Yes. Him and Jarris Walker are the 2 guys that just haven't been asked.
Or the Mark Williams and the who was Jalen Durant of this draft, where you're like
low usage.
One will go first.
Guys, one will go first, and I think it'll probably be Jarris Walker. But like
because he's more athletic.
Yeah, and he's shown more flashes of like a perimeter shot. But Kel'el Ware's like a 7-footer, so with a long ass.
Jet Howard.
Jet Howard, man. Jet Howard's a sniper. He's a bucket getter.
Do you think he's only this high because of his 3-point shot?
I think that definitely has something to do with it, but that's not a knock on him. Like he should be up here.
Can he create, or is he more of a?
He's been creating for that team all year.
I know, but is he a Buddy Hield or is he a?
He's
Desmond
probably
Bane. Is he Buddy Hield or Desmond Bane?
He's probably Buddy Hield.
Okay.
He's probably Buddy Hield instead of Desmond Bane.
Like he can create, but he's not creating all the time for himself.
Yeah, like that's what I would say. I think he's more Buddy Hield than Desmond Bane, but
Buddy Hield's like borderline all-star, like in his best season.
Like we talked about this a little bit yesterday on the show, and we're running into the problem here is the best, like the surefire prospects. Remember when I said about a couple months ago when I was talking the draft and I said I had a ton of questions about a lot of these guys?
Yeah.
I have a ton of questions about a lot of these guys. The college guys anyway. Like the thing is, we have just never, like most of the top prospects nowadays just aren't playing college ball. So it's just hard to base, like a lot of these guys aren't the surefire, like number 1 picks that we're used to seeing play in college ball in the past, if that makes sense. And like Nick Smith was like, people were talking about him being a challenger to Wemby and Scoot Henderson at the beginning of the year for the number 1 pick. And he just hasn't, he's looked good when he's played, but that knee is scary. And other than him, there hasn't been anybody that's really filled the void because even Brandon Miller, who's been my favorite freshman in the country this year, is averaging like 20 and 9. And earlier was like shooting, I think he's like shooting 40-something% from 3 now, but he was shooting like 60% from 3 after like the first like 6 or 7 games. Like Brandon Miller was on an insane tear to start the season. Right now he's shooting like, what is he shooting from 3? 43.5%. So like and taking 7 a game. Like still an efficient 3-point shooter and a guy who's going to be a problem for any, a small ball 4, I think is what Brandon Miller will get the most use out of. But even with that being said, like there are questions about a lot of these guys and how good they're going to be able to create their shots at the next level. I think besides Wemby and Scoot.
So let's move on. Thank you for that information. Ricky Rubio is coming back for the Cleveland Cavaliers. How big is for this? I say I can't wait to see lineups of Rubio at the small forward, Donovan Mitchell as shooting guard, and Darius Garland as point guard with Evan Mobley and Jared Allen protecting the rim. You know they're going to try that.
The 3-guard lineup with Rubio. You know they're going to give some minutes to Rubio, Garland. They're going to have a 3-guard lineup.
Because Rubio and Donovan Mitchell both have 6'10" wingspans.
Yeah, and they're both like what? Ricky Rubio's 6'3", 6'4".
6'4", yeah, almost. Yeah, and Donovan's 6'1".
Donovan's not 6'1". He's taller than that, bro. They're like
6'1". Donovan Mitchell's 6'1", bro.
Really
Google it right. Donovan Mitchell's 6'1" with a 6'10".
Wow, the NBA height really exposed him. Wow, yeah, it did. The NBA height listing, because he was listed at 6'3" coming into the draft before they did the standardized measurements or whatever.
Yeah, he's 6'1", and Ricky was, I think, 6'5" originally listed. Now he's 6'3".
Yeah,
6'4".
but they have long ass arms, so they can get away with it.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Imagine a Rubio, Garland, Mitchell with Evan Mobley and Allen inside. Holy fuck!
Yeah, that's gonna be a nice 3-guard lineup. With a lot of and obviously you're sacrificing a little bit of size on the wings, but you live with that because you have 2 7-footers, and
literally,
you also would have Karis LeVert coming off the bench. Let's not forget. So the Cavs are already really good. They're at the point where they don't need Rubio to come back right away and have to demand much of him. It'd be a nice surprise if he's able to play well, but Ricky Rubio will definitely help this team. I don't know if I'll say it pushes them over the edge of the top 3 teams, the Bucks, Nets, and the Celtics.
Hey, it's better than Raul Neto.
Yeah, exactly. And so I think Ricky Rubio definitely makes this team better. Yeah, he's obviously better than Neto.
Yeah, Raul. I love
phenomenal passer. He's going to enjoy playing in this offense
again.
Yeah, but he hasn't really they haven't really gotten the chance to experiment with the lineups that we're talking about, and hopefully he can stay healthy so they have a chance to do that.
I wonder what we'll see about how Ricky Rubio if he can. I think it all comes down to the 3-point shot. How effective he is.
Rubio. Yeah, that's how it's been his whole career.
Oh yeah, he's multiple times he's been almost 6th man of the year, borderline all-star when his 3-point shot's falling.
Yeah, that's been an issue his whole career. That was his issue when he was drafted, and it's an issue that.
Oh, it's what kept Ricky Rubio from being an All-NBA player regularly. It was just a 3-point shot.
Rubio, he had all the other tools besides that.
He was arguably a top 5 passer and top 5 defensive guard.
He's a great ball handler too.
Yeah, it probably went Kyrie, Ricky Rubio.
Kyrie, Steph, Ricky Rubio.
No, before Steph went off.
Oh, you're talking about Steph. Yeah.
Before Steph became Steph,
it was when they drafted him and Johnny Flynn ahead of Steph. Everybody was like, "Why are you drafting Johnny Flynn ahead of Steph?" But no, and even then, people weren't really saying that because Johnny Flynn was tough in college. But nobody was surprised that Ricky Rubio was drafted above Steph. Rubio was point guard
in the redraft. Ricky Rubio probably would still be a top pick in any draft.
Yeah. Because he has every other tool that NBA teams want.
He also, I think, is the 3rd youngest player to ever play in EuroLeague. I think he was 13 or 14.
Yeah, Ricky Rubio.
Ricky Rubio was younger than Luka Doncic.
People might say that he's a bust, but he's had a great career.
Alrighty.
Hurdle time. No music today. Wow.
Oh, wait, let's go. All right, here we go, guys. Hurdle got called out for no music.
Kessler Edwards, why not?
If you got that up.
We were talking about him earlier. Why not? Wow, not even close. Okay, so it's gonna be Thunder,
Timberwolves,
Wolves,
Nuggets.
Yeah.
Okay, wait.
Okay, so he plays for the Nuggets.
Peyton Watson.
What? Peyton Watson. Peyton Watson under 6'5".
No. Bones Highland?
Yeah. Maybe not. No, okay, so he's 6'3" or 6'4". How scroll up.
His number's between 3 and 9.
Is there any other age that was yellow besides Davon Reed's? Scroll up.
No.
Okay, so he's 25 or he's 26 or 27.
25 or 26.
Or 25 or 26, my bad. And he's between 6'3", he's 6'3" and 6'4", and he's a guard for the Nuggets.
All right, let's name all the guards. But Ish Smith. No, he's too old.
Jamal Murray?
Yep.
It can't be right. It was Jamal Murray.
But the numbers, they lied to us about the number.
Yeah, they did lie to us about the number.
Never mind, they didn't.
I thought it said down on Kessler Edwards.
I thought it said 9 and 3 was like this. It was between 9 and 3.
Okay, well, you're wrong about that. But hey, Jamal Murray.
It was a good one. All right. That was your 40-minute episode at a random fucking time because I went and got a new phone finally. It's fucking beautiful. Dude, I almost got a 14 Pro and they were just like, okay, here, $400 down payment. I was like, what?
Yeah, no.
I was like, no. I was like,
13.
Yeah, I know. So I did the regular 14.
Oh yeah, the regular 14
instead of the Pro, and there was only 50 because I was trading in my phone and then like charging it to my dad's account because my dad said go get yourself a new phone, and I was like okay, and I was like yeah, like I'll pay, and then they were like okay 50 for this one. I was like yeah, I'll pay 50. I won't complain, but like yeah, I wasn't dropping 400 for a phone.
No, fuck no, I wouldn't.
I was like, I was originally getting the Pro because they made it seem like I didn't have to pay. But that's it for us today, guys. My dad just called me, actually, just as we were talking. But you'll be here tomorrow?
Yep. I'll be here tomorrow.
Alrighty.
All right.
Cheers.
Peace.
Take care. If you guys enjoyed today's show, be a friend and tell a friend. Like, comment, subscribe. As always, hope you guys have a great day because we know we will. Bye.